Lift Events and Experiences, known for Canada's #1 cannabis conference and trade shows, is hosting a full slate of events in 2023 and expanding into the U.S., and you're invited. Lift welcomes everyone from legacy participants to multi-state operators to everyday folks who can enjoy and respect the plant. So join us in lifting the cannabis industry together, January 12th through the 14th in Vancouver, then in Toronto in June and San Francisco in August. Visit liftevents.com for details. That's liftevents.com.
It's only entertainment.
Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast. MJ BizCon live here in sunny Las Vegas. I've got Scott Solomon. He's with OSS. Scott, thanks for being on the Talking Hedge.
Thank you. Great to be here.
What is OSS? What do you guys do?
Sure. OSS is a risk management company that specializes in secure cash management and logistics. Essentially, we move money. So the way that we do it is a little unique in that we try to foster a relationship between the financial institution and the cannabis business. We want to make compliance a key and keep that relationship open and thriving.
Pretty important. There's a couple of pretty hefty states out there. New York, Washington State, fairly strict on their DFI and the transit of money. So highly regulated. You're in cannabis, then you're in finance. Regulation on top of regulations is even more in finance. How do you foresee like the Safe Banking Act impacting your business?
Right. So first of all, I think the Safe Banking Act is still a very politically charged issue. And given the political elements that are kind of fighting to push it or to hold it back, I don't really believe that it's going to be passed anytime soon. However, even when it does pass, we don't believe it's going to affect our business model because compliance is always going to be a key. Some people have the misconception that when safe banking does become a reality, that it's going to be laissez-faire or it's going to be a lot easier to work in these markets. Our vision is that it will include a lot more regulation, a lot more oversight and restriction. So we think our model is still going to be very important.
Yeah, there's a lot of risk. There's a lot of robberies that we're seeing on the West Coast. I'm in Washington. There's been some deaths as a result of people just trying to rob and kill people. So getting the cash out of the system is a risk and something that we should be focusing on, and yet it's not. Can you maybe explain to the audience that don't understand why we can't use credit cards or debit?
Sure. The main reason is Visa, MasterCard, the other card companies operate nationally and internationally. And cannabis is still a Schedule I narcotic that is not permissible on those rails. So there are some systems now and some banks, financial institutions that are moving towards processes that would allow a credit card, but it requires a great deal of client onboarding, vetting, and the main element that you need in any of those transactions is transparency. You need to know exactly who that individual or business is, exactly what they're purchasing, buying, where that money's moving, and not try to cloak it or make it a secret transaction.
Okay. Moving back to the risk analysis part of that, is that a tough sell when you're talking to individuals and trying to give them traditional financial cues and abilities to operate like a normal business? Is there pushback on that still? Or do people understand the value that you're providing?
Right, that's a great question, one that we often get. I think early on, so back in 2017, very few clients or potential clients saw the need for compliance. They were more focused on driving the business, pushing into the market. Then after a year or two, compliance did become a big focus because of the negative publicity of non-compliance. But here recently, definitely in the last year, we're seeing the level of competition and price awareness really becoming paramount in that decision. So now we have to be more competitive. And when you have a compliance-oriented model, it's always going to be more expensive. We're not cutting corners. We want to do things the right way. And it doesn't help us if the bank shuts down an account or if the business loses that account. So we want to maintain that compliant relationship. It's just becoming a lot more competitive.
And it's going to become a lot more involved. As last night there was the Senate, news about the Senate bringing a bill to Biden that would allow for research. That's the first step towards descheduling.
Right.
Then we wouldn't necessarily need a Safe Banking Act if it wasn't a Schedule 1, which would change a lot and make this industry a lot more it would increase the complexities of the industry by having it be fully regulated at that point.
Right.
And the compliance, I feel, is huge. You have a lot of turnover, and so individuals are just kind of falling through the cracks. There's not that tribal knowledge necessarily from a new industry. So you have all of these compounding factors. How do you deal with it?
Yeah, that's
maybe just focus on turnover and how to train individuals constantly.
Right, and I think that's it. Enhanced due diligence is a common term in the industry when it comes to Banking Secrecy Act or anti-money laundering regulations. So I think if you just focus on educating people, keeping them up to date on how regulations and how the markets are changing, and always sell your value. Make the case to them that the expense is worth it. OSS, I believe, is still the only company in our market space that has a zero loss record. So we've never lost a penny. We've never had a seizure. We've never had an issue where the funds that we're moving were not fully accounted for in a completely compliant fashion. Absolutely, and because our primary business vertical is moving cash, a lot of people think that we're putting all of our eggs in that basket. That's not the case. We know that there are compliant cashless systems out there, platforms, that businesses are starting to use. So we want to be as nimble as possible. We don't want to be a cash-only business. We know that there are other options out there, and we want to support and advocate for as many tools, as many advantages that these businesses can have. Because, I mean, we have clients that when it comes to their applications, their license, their permits, their taxes, 60, 70, or even 80% of the revenue that comes in the front door goes right out the back. And so that's an extremely tough market to thrive in or to profit in. So we want to work with them to have as many tools as possible to increase that profitability margin.
What's the SOPs in terms of delivery? Because it seems like a lot more complication. You have cash on hand, you have product on hand, there's maybe issues for internal theft or diversion or just being robbed, I guess. How do you guys deal with that? What do some SOPs look like in terms of trying to simplify and protect and remain in compliance from a delivery standpoint?
Sure. We started with basic security consulting. So we're very familiar with the security needs and aspects of these businesses. So we do start with an analysis of all of our clients on their safety posture. We can work with them to enhance that posture, to make them a more secure business. And we see that the cash in transit aspect essentially floats through or drives through that security profile of a business. So just like you said, the number one thing we're getting questions about today is a smart safe. So people want different tools, different ways to, number one, reduce internal theft, which we see as probably the biggest loss element of the cannabis industry, and also to reduce exposure to external or nefarious elements out there that start to scope out a business, see that they're kind of loose with their cash handling, and then mark them as a target. So smart safes, having a protocol that trains your employees and integrates security at a level that works for your budget is obviously the key.
If there's anybody who wants to learn more about cash management, compliance, anything else that you guys are offering over at Operational Security Solutions.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
OSS. If people want to learn more about OSS, where can they find you?
Our website's the best place to start. So opsecsolutions.us. So OPSEC solutions with an S at the end, .us. That's our website. You can find out about the company, our service offerings, and receive a contact back from one of our staff.
Okay, perfect. I think with that, though, we're going to have to roll this one up. So I want to thank my guest, Scott Solomon with OSS. Scott, thanks again for being on The Talking Edge.
Great. Thank you. Great to be here.
I'm Josh Kennedy. This is The Talking Edge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out.
Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.
Thanks for listening to today's show. To check out more great cannabis podcasts, go to podconnects.com. Here's a preview of one of our other shows.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from the Cannabis Connoisseur Podcast. If you're looking for ways to utilize cannabis to keep you healthy, strong, and sharp, come join us every Wednesday where we dive into the best ways to use cannabis to optimize your life. Topics include cannabis and athletics, cannabis for productivity, cannabis for anxiety, cannabis for a healthy immune system, and so much more. If you're a curious connoisseur, this show is for you. So please head over to our page and we're looking forward to seeing you this week. Bye.